The Rings of Power Episode 7 Recap. Many of the characters who survived in the Southlands after the eruption of Mount Doom were separated into smaller groups and had to try to get out of the ash and smoke. Galadriel and Theo teamed up, and we learned that Galadriel's husband, Celeborn, has supposedly been dead for 1,000 years. I really like the dialogue between Galadriel and Theo, and the visuals in these segments. To me, it felt more in line with the Lord of the Rings movies and books. This is the Galadriel I'm hoping to see more of as the show progresses. Her lines felt more wise and fitting for someone of her age. One of Isildur's friends didn't survive the eruption, and a collapsed building left Isildur's fate a mystery for now. Elendil spends much of the episode worried over Isildur, and apparently regretting his decision to follow Galadriel to battle in Middle-earth. He lets Isildur's horse free. I'm guessing the horse will find Isildur, similar to how Aragorn's horse found him in the Two Towers. The prophecy by Tar Palantir that Miriel would find darkness in Middle-earth was literally fulfilled after Miriel got hit in the face by hot coals and went blind. Eventually, Galadriel and Theo reunite with Arondir and Bronwyn and the others at a Númenorian camp that's set up outside of the ash cloud. Miriel vows to Galadriel that Númenor will return to fight against the evil in Middle-earth in the future. Elendil weeps. Galadriel finds Halbrand wounded there. They claim only elven magic can save him, and so they ride out to Lindon, the elvish capital city. How do you think Halbrand got his wound? Was it self-inflicted, or did he have a run-in with Adar out in the ash? I know we've speculated to death who Halbrand is and where or who is Sauron, but hopefully this will be answered or clarified in the season finale. The Harfoots find debris and ruin far from the eruption of Mount Doom, and the stranger attempts to use magic to heal a tree, but of course it goes wrong, and the Harfoots decide it's time for him to go. They send him off towards a nearby human village. It isn't until the next morning that they discover that his magic helped fruit and flowers to bloom. The creepy mystics, or whatever they're called, who seem to have been tracking the stranger, show up and cause total devastation to the Harfoots' wagons and supplies. In a tiny fellowship, Frodo and Sam, Nori and Poppy, and Nori's stepmother Marigold, and Sadoc set out to go and find the stranger. Elrond and Durin IV, Middle-earth's best bromance, try to get King Durin III to make a deal between the elves to trade goods and services for access to Mithril, but the king is stubborn and refuses. While the king is untrusting of elves, we're reminded that Elrond is half-elf and always keeps his promises. Do you think the king knows about what lurks below in flame and shadow? Supposedly, the light of the elves will fade without the help of the Mithril, and this is more or less confirmed after a piece of Mithril heals the corrupted leaf from Lindon. Durin and his wife Disa are Khazad-dûm's best power couple. They decide to basically just go against the king's wishes, and Elrond and Durin continue to dig for the Mithril. Just as they find it, the king interrupts and ejects Elrond from Khazad-dûm. The king also removes a piece of Durin's collar, which implies that he's been disowned by his father and is no longer the heir to the throne. The king throws the leaf down the hole and commands that it be filled in. Then we get this brief glimpse of what's down there as the Balrog roars. Finally, Adar tells his orc children to cast off their suncloaks and helms because they will no longer be burdened by the light of day in their new ash-covered land. Adar says that the land is now theirs, and that it is no longer going to be called the Southlands. Then, for some weird reason, rather than showing it on a map like they've established throughout the entire season, someone at Amazon thought it would be a good idea to do a text transition on screen, in case it wasn't clear to the audience that this is now called the Land of Mordor. What do you think of this episode? Why do you think it was called The Eye? Do you think Sauron is watching? Are you excited about the finale? What do you think will happen? I honestly don't know what to expect other than perhaps some resolution with the stranger and possibly a Sauron reveal in or near Lindon. Do you think we'll even see one single ring of power being forged this season? As always, give me your best theories and thoughts in the comments. Please help support me by liking this video and subscribing, and check out my other long-form content for quality Wheel of Time book lore, TV episode breakdowns, theories, and more. Special thanks to my Patreon and YouTube supporters who continue to make this possible. Thanks for watching and sharing.